wrote this little tune, 'cause I'm trying to sit next to you. Yeah, baby. How you feeling tonight? In a crowd, you're the only one inside. And me and my brothers are feeling alright. You know this night is gonna turn out fine. So come here, baby.
All right. Guess what? Back again. You get a double shot tonight. We're going to talk about the concept of democracy for a little bit. This is something that we've touched on. I shouldn't say we, I should say I, because typically it's just me. So we haven't really had a we discussion about it, which would be democracy, right? So I guess what you're getting right now is I guess that's more of a maybe a dictatorship around here on this program. I don't know. No, it's not. I welcome any dissent and anybody's opinion, but it doesn't make it a fucking democracy. I can tell you that much for sure. We've been inundated recently with this idea of, I shouldn't even say recently. This has been going on forever. We've been somehow appointed as the keepers of democracy globally. This idea, this country of America, and I love this country. I love the people. That's what I know. I don't love the way that it's working. I don't love the way that it has worked. And there's really a rare case where I would say that I've thrown everything in behind any kind of political ideology, because frankly, I don't think any of these political ideologies are, working in benefit of the people. I just don't. I don't see it. I see the good of the people, and then the ideas of politics and policies and governments to be in direct conflict with each other. Even as much as, causing conflict and division amongst those of us that are the population. Am I wrong? I mean, we're all talked into believing in this goofy shit that these assholes stand up there and grandstand on. Did they ever come through with it? Who remembers being in high school? And I know I've brought this analogy up previously, but I'm going to do it again. Keep sitting here. You sat there, the band played the fight song that we stole from the University of Michigan, If You Were Lynn Cody. Yeah, everybody got wound up. And then they have the candidates for student body council come out. I remember one year somebody had nominated me, and I'm sitting up there in the bleachers, and somebody says, "Oh yeah, Mike Files running for student, but whatever." I never put my name in on it, and they're like, "Do you have?" I'm like, "I don't got nothing to say. Like, what am I going to do? Go down here in the grandstand with these guys? Tell everybody they're going to get Mountain Dew every day for lunch? Tell them that they're going to not eat like half soy burgers every hamburger day? I mean, that the food was going to be better. What the fuck can the student body council really fucking do in a fucking school? Think about it. It's the administration, right? Giving you the illusion that you think that you can affect change by who you vote for. And they're grooming you. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that word, but they're making you ready as a high school kid or junior high kid, whatever. Whenever they start doing these things, they're preparing you for what it's going to be like in the real world, right? Because in the real world, it's the same fucking thing. You're going to get some character, be whoever it is. It's a popularity contest. And you can't get in that popularity contest unless you have what? What's the one thing that you have to have? It can't be charisma. It can't be good ideas. It can't be a combination of the two. You know what it takes? That's right. It takes that Skrilla, that Money. That's what it's all about. It's that money. To run for any office, you got to have that money. People that have ideas or intentions or some kind of drive on like something that, some kind of ideology or philosophy that might change society. But if you don't have that money behind you, good luck. You ain't going nowhere. And when you get there, you ain't going nowhere. I mean, period. I mean, the one anomaly I could think of is probably OAC, and I don't know how she raised the money to get where she got. She did, and she made a bunch of promises about shit she couldn't deliver on. Quite frankly. I mean, let's ask Chris Smalls with Amazon, I mean, she was supposed to be there for those people. She didn't show up. She quoted it as security reasons. Excuse me. It's getting late. But, she didn't show up. She said, let's raise a ruckus. What did she do when it came time for Force the Vote? Anybody remember that? Force the Vote? No, because all these people that were in the squad that were supposed to make all this difference and change and raise a ruckus. No. No. That's not happening. They're going to vote with Nancy Pelosi. Come on. They say that when it's election time. But when it comes time for the actual floor votes, they do shit like not show up or they vote present. That's an interesting one to me. I mean, quite frankly, I would not vote for anybody in Congress that has a voting record of saying present. If you're there and you don't vote yes or no, you don't deserve to be there. You can go bye-bye. That's what you're put there to fucking do. You're put there in an office to fucking vote. You're not put there to vote present. And then grandstand and kowtow and fucking make bullshit up and fucking talk lies. AOC has done that a number of times, and she's not the only one. There's a number of others that do the same fucking thing. Those of you that go out and get involved in politics, which isn't very many to tell you the truth, because let's be honest. Let's just be honest. Most of you will get sick and tired of hearing me talk about all this shit, don't you? Most of you do. There's a handful that don't, but most everybody out there doesn't even want to hear about this. You want to look at silly dog and cat memes and fucking watch pigeons fly around and look at TikTok and feel good and happy about everything and just, punch in, punch out, punch out basically. You clock in at work and you go through the motions. You look busy all day. You take your morning break at 10, and if you're a smoker, by God, which I don't do anymore. I don't give a shit if you do or if you don't. You go outside and you get to have your cigarette break, and then, you drink your little coffee and, take your lunch break at noon and go stand in some crowded line and get your little sandwich. Or if you packed your bologna sandwich and, your little bag of fucking toxic Ruffles or whatever, 12:30 back to punch back in. Punch it in. Don't get paid for that half-hour lunch, though. No. You're selling your time. What's the difference between doing that and being a prostitute? What's the difference between being an employee and being a toot? I mean, toot's at least maybe getting something out of it. I don't know. Maybe not. I shouldn't laugh at it. But you know, I mean, that's a contract that the toot entered into willingly. And we just enter into these contracts of, you know, this whole idea that that's how we grow up. Well, you got to go through school. You got to get your good grade. You got to go out and get yourself a jobby job. Spend your 20s trying to get some payments made on that student loan, right? Hit your early 30s. If you're a female, you start having that biological clock start ticking, right? You got to have kids, got to get married. I can't be going to any more dirty 30 parties if you haven't had a kid already. If you're a dude, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing because you're just sitting there going, Jesus Christ, what the fuck did I get myself into? I'm sitting there, you know, you're living in a bachelor pad with a bunch of dudes, you know, I mean, you guys are having fun on the weekends, whatever, but, you know, you're like, what, this is how life's going to be? And then, you know, you end up living like under a bridge. Hey. Or in a tent. Hey. I've done both. I've lived under a bridge and in a tent. I think I've done them both at the same time. Now I don't live under a bridge or in a tent, but I very well could be. You never know what tomorrow may bring. But one thing I can guarantee you is that I'm not going to be punching the clock. And I won't be voting because I'm not allowed to anymore. So let's talk about, what we're going to talk about is democracy. This idea of democracy. We use this word, this term, and we hold it in such high fucking regard that we're willing to do anything to defend it. Anything. As long as one of those politicians that we voted for, because we voted for him, right? I mean, the people have spoken. So when that politician gets up there and says, you know, they play the song, you know, John Philip Sousa. We went through that the other night. Stars and Stripes Forever, right? Democracy. It's a great thing. And I was sitting here earlier tonight, and here's something that I do, and it might seem weird, but I occasionally read through the Constitution of this country. Who's done that recently? Raise a show of hands. Judging by the one like that I probably have out there, I'd guess probably not really much of anybody. Number one, you probably don't understand the language. It's probably just as foreign to you as reading Shakespeare is. I mean, I remember when I was in college, you know, I always had the backseat of the bus. And there's one night we're out in the middle of nowhere, done like a fucking 6-7 hour drive to play our next game or whatever. And I was kind of that guy. I was like, this is my seat. And I took the whole back bench. I was like, if I want to lay down, I could lay down. The bathroom was right there. So if I wanted to go smoke weed in the bathroom, I could open the bathroom window. No one would know. I know I shouldn't say that. Oh my God. But so the coach comes back one night. I'm sitting back there and I've got, a number of different, I think I've got, you know, some Homer laying out, and I'm reading some Shakespeare. I'm reading Othello, as a matter of fact. And the coach comes back. I move a book. I said, what's up, man? I said, what's up, Beamer? He said, what are you doing, man? I said, well, I'm reading some Shakespeare for my class, man. He's like, why would you be reading? I said, what do you mean, why would I be reading that? I said, it's one of my classes. I mean, don't you want me to get the grades I'm supposed to get so I can keep playing ball? You know? And he's like, I can't stand that stuff. He goes, I never understood any of it. And so I started telling him the premise of Shakespeare's Othello. And he was just like, holy shit, man. He's like, you actually, like, you can understand that shit? I said, well, and, you know, Shakespeare is one of those things where it's, you know, it takes some time. I mean, you really have to immerse yourself in it. And it's just like anything. You have to put the time in. It's like playing guitar or playing an instrument, any craft. fly fishing, riding a bicycle, doing anything. You don't just go and just all of a sudden just do shit. And it's like, I suppose some people are fortunate enough that they have those things that happen where they just do it and it's like second nature. I've never had that as a personal experience, but I suppose some people do. Anyway, the reason I relate this story and going back to democracy is that, just for instance, who was thought to be one of the greatest authors of all time? Shakespeare, right? How many people out there have ever sat and actually read Shakespeare? And I'm not talking about going and seeing Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes at, in some movie. I'm talking about actually like reading Macbeth, even reading Romeo and Juliet. Everybody knows that story. That one's not that difficult to get through, because everybody knows it. Read Othello. People don't do it. So if we're in a class about classic literature and you haven't done the homework, you haven't read the book, you don't know the thing like our president doesn't know, then are you fit to vote? I don't know. It's a question worth asking, though, isn't it? I'd like to know. Sound off. Let me know. How many of you out there have read the Constitution? How many out there know any of the other amendments other than, I know everybody in Wyoming knows the Second Amendment, right? You got the right to have bear arms up on your wall, right? So you look right behind me. Which side is he on? Right there. See? There's bear. Right there. And he's got arms. And he's got the right to bear arms on my wall. I'm pro 2A because I got bear arms. Right? Do you know the First Amendment? Do you know the Fourth Amendment? Does anybody know the Fourth Amendment out there? Do you know what that is? Does anybody know how to recite that to, say, an officer if you get pulled over and they want to search your vehicle? Does anybody know how to look at an officer and say, I do not consent to any illegal search or seizure of my person or my property, and if you proceed in such manner, I will press charges against you to the fullest extent of the law? Anybody know that? Anybody ever use that? I've used it. I've been called a smart ass, and I've been cuffed and stuffed, and then I've gone to court and had shit thrown out, dismissed, gone. Because of that. Because I made some, an officer angry. They said, what are you, some kind of smart kid? And it's like, well, I know more than you, so go ahead. If this is what you got to do, then do it. But you've been told. Who knows that? Who knows what the Fifth Amendment is? Who knows what the 14th is? Who knows what the 25th? Anybody know that? That one's kind of relevant right now. If you don't know these things, then it's my contention that there's really no reason that you should vote. Straight up. If you go in there and just already, you shouldn't vote. And if you're going to vote for one of those parties, I don't think you should anyways either, because those two parties are the same fucking thing. And if you like the way things are going, if you like how this is working out, if you like paying $5, $6, $7 a gallon for fuel, if you like your inflationary costs of groceries and other goods going up, they're calling it 8.5% right now. Bullshit. It's not right. It's not 8.5%. It's more like 15 or 16, because the way they calculate these things, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but the way they calculate it is not accurate whatsoever. And any of y'all who have been to the store recently, you know what I'm saying. And we've been watching it happen for a while. It didn't just happen when Pooty Poot decided to go in to Ukraine. Fuel prices didn't just go up through the roof. They used it as an excuse, but they were already going. And I'm sorry, but they weren't doing that when the Orange Man was in. Just saying. And as I've always said, I'm all for a green alternative, but it has to be an actual alternative. It can't just be some kind of poop dream. It can't just be some kind of fucking, we're just going to fucking fire everybody and shut you down and you're not going to be making a living. And, oh, then we're going to inflate the price of everything, you know. But hey, you'll get a $1,400 check. And, you know, you got to wear a mask around. And, you know, you get the jab 3 or 4 times, 5 times, depending on how many times we feel like you need to do it. You know, that's democracy for you. Sounds like a great deal, huh? How's it working out for y'all? How's it working out for everybody? Good? Everybody happy? Everybody happy? Pleased? Are you happy that we got a guy that shakes hands with ghosts? That gets scared by the Easter Bunny? That doesn't know where he is on a day-to-day basis, and this is the guy. This is what that's democracy for you right there. That's what happens. See, that's how that works. When you have an uninformed electorate, that's what you get. And it doesn't matter if it's him or a game show host or George Bush Jr. or Obama, who wins a Nobel Prize for running us out of bombs in a day. The guy started 7 wars. He started 7 fucking wars. Okay? Did Trump do that? Trump did not start a single war. These are facts. You can say whatever you like. I can get censored. I don't care. These are facts. Trump didn't start another war. Obama started 7 and ran our country out of bombs in a day. Facts. Joe Biden was the architect of the 1994 crime bill that imprisoned thousands upon thousands of black men for non-violent drug crimes, while he has a son who is a crack addict, whose laptop has pictures of him smoking crack, who flew on Air Force Two to China and came back with $1.5 million. Air Force Two, for those of you who don't know, is for the vice president. His father was the vice president at the time. Joe said he had no knowledge or any inclination of anything his son was doing. Why was he on Air Force Two then? Just, hey, son, go ahead. And I'm worried about the climate, but I'm more worried about that $1.5 million you're going over there to get. Anybody picking up what I'm putting down? Anybody? He flies over there to fucking Brussels and gets up there and mumbles unintelligible bullshit every time he's in front of the microphone. I mean, I'm no genius, but I mean, and I'm not his age either. He's almost 70. I'm 46. But I mean, I think my diction skills are probably better than his when he was my age, because all he could do was get up there and plagiarize. I mean, he'd get up there and plagiarize speeches from, and to his advantage back then, we didn't have the interwebs. So it was real easy to take a speech from, say, a British politician and just spit it word for word, and chances are 95% of the population isn't going to know anyhow. I mean, they didn't figure that out till later. You can get up there and lie about being in the top percentile of your class when you barely even made it through. Talking about being Scranton Joe, corn pop. Corn pop doesn't exist, just like that fucking Cory Booker talks about fucking T-bone or whatever. Fictional shit. Cory Booker don't know anything about no fucking T-bone. I mean, it's pathetic. It's pathetic the way these politicians just grandstand, make shit up, and as a populace, we believe it. And you go out there, and then you go into the voting booth, and you have no clue. I mean, let's be honest about it. I'd like to know how many people out there have a fucking clue what they're even voting for. Have you noticed that it's the same thing? That we get the same thing year after year after year? And now the media treats George Bush Jr. like he's some kind of a, just was an amazing president. And he was responsible for 1 million innocent people's deaths. Now, I know that those people don't matter to you because they're brown people from a place you've never been and you probably couldn't even locate on a map, just like Ukraine. But all of a sudden, we're behind Zelensky. For better or whatever. Do you know why? Do you have a clue? Do you know? I mean, you've got a Ukrainian flag on your Facebook post, your Facebook page. 2 months ago, I'd give you a map and say, "Show me where the fuck Ukraine is on the map." You wouldn't have been able to tell me. But now, how come you don't have a fucking Palestinian flag up? How come you don't have? How come you don't have a Yemenis flag? Anybody know what's going on in Yemen? Anybody paid attention to that? Anybody paid attention to our role in facilitating that genocide? Or who's involved in it? Anybody know? Questions? Hello? Hi. Hey, long-haired tattooed guy asking you a question. Wake the fuck up. Anybody out there know what's going on in Yemen? What's been going on in Yemen? Any clue? Do you know what's happening in Syria and what's happened in Syria other than what you've seen about, Assad, from the CNN person that picks up the fucking backpack and puts it up in her face? Oh, this smells bad. And everybody, he chemically fucking bombed his own people. Are you shitting me? Does anybody know anything about sarin gas? Anybody know anything about chemical warfare? If it's in a fucking backpack and you pick it up and stick your beak in there on camera, guess what? If that's what it is, you're going down. Oh, yeah. It's not like smelling a fucking rotten egg, motherfuckers. Did y'all believe it? You think CNN is this bastion of truth and honesty? Mr. Potato Head. Watch that fucking Oberman cry and, these watch the Cuomo brothers do their shit. Now the ones wanting it's good. I don't give a shit. Who cares? They're not news. They're not. They're nothing. They're a bunch of liars. I mean, most everybody out there is lying, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you could be talking about anything from attorneys to retailers, politicians, especially. Everybody, they're all lying. They've all got this agenda. And what is the agenda? It's this, right? Get that money. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Is the problem you? Is the problem me? Is the problem we? Is the problem them? I mean, I can sit here and bitch about them all day, but you know what the problem is? I think the problem is we. Because we, the democracy, have let this happen. So you tell me, democracy a good idea? I'm not sitting here saying that dictatorship is a good thing or anything like that. We're pretty much in an oligarchy right now anyhow. It ain't even democracy because they can sway your vote on a given day. All they got to do is make up a story like the Don't Say Gay bill that doesn't have the word gay in any of it. How many of you out there have read the 7 pages? I have. Have you? Have you read it? You people out there marching around, grandstanding on this shit. Who's read it? I'd like to know. Sound off. Somebody fucking say something for once in a while. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, who's read the bill? Do you want a link to it? I'll pull it up right now. I'll put it up on the fucking... I've already done this once. We'll do it again. I challenge you to read it. Read the goddamn thing. I mean, I would like to. I would like to know. I haven't talked to anybody other than myself. I'm the only one that I know that's read it. Everybody else I talked to about this thing, they haven't read it. The only other people I know of that have read it have been, these. I don't even think politicians have read it. It goes back to the same thing like Pelosi saying, well, we have to pass it so we can see what's in it. What? Huh? That's the third most powerful person on the planet right there. Number 3. We have to pass it so we know what's in it. These are the people that are putting forth 2,000-page bills a day before they're supposed to be voted on. Who's going to read that in one day? I don't care how many aides you have. Because quite possibly those aides that you have, they don't have a clue anyhow. They're just, graduate students trying to get their foot in the door and, wear their little suit and, hopefully somehow skid mark in there and pretend to be somebody someday. It's all just a facade. It's a farce. It's a fake. It's a phony. The whole thing is. But let's look up the bill here. I guarantee I can just put "don't say gay" and it'll come right up because I can't remember what it was. It was House Bill, what was it, 1557. Yeah, I mean, you got the Guardian and 2 articles by PBS where they refer to this as the "don't say gay" bill. There is nothing in there that says the word gay or "don't say." Those 3 words are never in perpetuity anywhere in this bill. It's not there. And I mean, it takes an act of God to even look it up. So, I mean, I guess that's no wonder because it didn't pop up on your Facebook feed. You wouldn't have read it. You know what I mean? Or on your Reddit. I mean, here they finally call it the Parental Rights and Education Bill. Basically, what it's saying is, as a parent, you got a right to know what's going on with your fucking kids. And then we've got these Hollywood actors, this fucking stupid fucking fathead Ron Perlman calling DeSantis a Nazi pig. Come on. Go back and be a fucking snitch on fucking Sons of Anarchy or whatever, dude. Go play Hellboy again or something. Shut the fuck up. He didn't even read it. I guarantee he didn't read it. He just got wound up. I mean, here's a whole article from NBC News. And there's not one place in this entire article where they actually name this bill. Put students in its crosshairs with a combination of book bans, pride flag removals, and bills targeting LGBTQ youth. Okay, how many kindergarten through 3rd graders do you know that are defining themselves as LGBTQ? Unless their parents have done it for them. Last I checked, I didn't know any 5-year-old that considered themselves to be one of the alphabet people. You? Maybe you do. But if you do, then where did it come from? Because that is not, I repeat, not typical behavior. Okay, 3% of this country's population, right? 3 fingers up, right? You see that? 1, 2, 3. 3% gay or homosexual. 3%. Trans. It's 1 finger right there. 1%. 1%. That totals for 4% of 340 million people, roughly. And I round up to 340 right now because with all the people that have come into this country that are unaccounted for, we could easily say that we're at 340. It's probably closer to 350 if we were fucking legitimate about it, if we were honest about it. But we don't want to do that. Why would we want to be honest about anything? I mean, there's no reason for that, is there? I mean, I scroll down here, I can't even find, I just typed in the bill number and I can't even find it. I mean, let's go to PBS, right? PBS. In some states, versions of Don't Say Gay bills have been around for quite a while. Oh, in Alabama, Kay Ivey signed into law the House Bill 322, colloquially dubbed Don't Say Gay, restricting teachers from discussing LGBTQ plus, no, it's just plus, history or people in public elementary schools. Okay. Let's see what this one says. Anybody read that one? Nobody even says anything about the one from Alabama, do they? I mean, you sit here and you read these articles. They don't want you to read it. They don't want you to actually read. They want you to just believe what they're telling you. They want you to just think that what they're... This is PBS, for fuck's sake. Should not PBS put the goddamn bill number and a link to it in their fucking article? Should they not? Should they not do so? Is that irresponsible journalism to actually put the number of the bill and a link to it in your article? If you're going to sit here and you're going to run your neck about something that you haven't even read and you keep referring it to it as this Don't Say Gay shit when it never said anything about that, it never even... And hey, I don't care. I'm friends with everybody and I don't give a shit. It's none of my business what your sexual orientation is or your gender identity. You want to be called by a certain name? I'll call you he or she. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go into all the other things, but if you want to be a he, you can be a he. You want to be a she, you can be a she. I don't care. You want to be Pat? Fine. Whatever. I don't care. It's not my business. It's your life. It's your person. You have a right to live your life the way you want to, as long as you're not hurting anybody. That's, I mean, you know, so anybody can say whatever they want to about where I'm coming from with this thing. But look, I love everybody. I don't care. It's not that I mean, I do not honestly care. I don't care. Pride fucking parades. You know what? I've been in the middle of those things before. I'm comfortable in my sexuality and who I am. I want everybody else to be the same way, but I don't think 5-year-old kids need to have that shit crammed down their throat when they're 5 years old. Like I said, my son's 14 years old now, and we have adult-like conversations about these things. And I always make sure to iterate to him. Not reiterate, but to iterate. I'm not going to do the Jen Psaki, cow milking thing. I was telling him, hey, man, I was like, you just have to, people are going to do, what they're going to do. And it's, the way I look at it, I mean, it's not, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's like, if that's what you gotta do, or that's what you gotta be, or that's what you feel, then hey, all the better. Fine. And there's no hate here. There's no hate. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm a member of the People's Party, and I can't even fucking vote. And that's what's pathetic about it, is because, quite frankly, I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and put myself up on some kind of fucking podium, but I mean, I do my homework. I'm informed. I wish more people would I mean, I wish there were people out there that would, hit me up once in a while and say, hey, dude, maybe look at it this way. And I go, oh, shit, okay. I mean, but every single article, I cannot for the life of me. I'm going to have to go back and look at the episode that I put this up or look at one of my old cards, but I got them all up on the bar top. Oh, I mean, I guarantee if I just type in Florida HB, let's see if the number's right. There it is. I was right. House Bill 1550. I have to type that in and go to floridastatesenate.gov. And then let's see if it even comes up. All right. And it went through plenty of attempts that it failed. Then they had to amend it. Looks like they amended it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like 13 times before the third reading. Read on the third time. What do we have? Yeas were 22, nays were 17. And on the 28th of March, it was signed by officers and presented to the governor, approved by the governor on the 29th of 2022. I'm just trying to find the actual bill. Let's see, new bill by version. I mean, this is what you got to go through to look this up. So I'm not blaming anybody for not reading this shit because, it's not 1557. That's the original, the current version. All right, let's take a look at this guy. So, I mean, you even get to this thing, it's just a joke. You've got citations and this and that and the other thing. I mean, I just want to see the damn thing. And I've had it up previously. Well, there we go, PDF. Let's just see if we can get up with that one. Okay. And there we go, engrossed. All right. Page 2, there's 7 pages. That's what we got here. So let me pull this up. And this has already almost gone away anyhow. I mean, the public's, scope of, or ability, I should say, to even examine these things is just, we got the attention span of a fucking gnat. I mean, this is really talking about like kids' mental health and how, school needs to inform a parent. School districts may not adopt procedures or student support forms that prohibit school district personnel from notifying a parent about his or her student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being. I mean, as a parent, don't you want to know that about your kids? Especially when we're talking about kids that are kindergarten through third grade. And then we got here it does, 97 right here. I don't know if y'all can see this. I'm going to just, here, give me a second. Let me blow this up so you all can read it. Get my ugly mug out of the fucking picture for a second. Okay, so we're going to look at, we're starting on number 3 here. Line 97. Classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. Okay, that's one place that it's mentioned. And then if we scroll up here, there is, there's one more place where it's in the middle of a sentence and it doesn't, there's nothing in this thing. Read this thing, people. They're saying that the school can't encourage, or have, just withhold information from a parent, which is unless they think that there's going to be like some kind of imminent harm from the information being provided to the parent. Who's not behind that? Who's not behind that? And we're talking about children that are kindergarten through third grade. I mean, I'm just trying to find the one other place where it's mentioned here. But there's never anything that says don't say gay. All right. I mean, none of this is just, I mean, and that's page 7. This is really a short thing. I mean, I've sounded off on journalists out there on big shows about this, telling them, you know what, I respect you, I always have, but it's like, you're better than this. You know, just because they want to, I mean, just mentioning this thing. Anyway, there's, the other sentence says the same thing. I mean, really the only place where this whole idea is even addressed is, you know, and it's one sentence. And it just says, classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3. How are you going to instruct a 5, 6, 7-year-old about sexual orientation or gender identity when they're 5, 6, 7 years old? You're telling them not to eat glue at that age. Like, hey, don't eat the glue. The glue's not good. You know, like, you know, don't lick the urinal cake. I mean, I don't understand. People have lost their fucking minds in this country over this. And you got Jen Psaki out there crying about it. She's crying. I mean, she's getting ready to go to MS and DNC anyway, so, you know. She's just getting ready, I guess. This is what democracy brings you, people. This is my point. This is what democracy gets you. Because how many of you out there, I would really like an honest show of hands, how many people have really read this fucking thing? It seems like most of the politicians that you all voted for have not read it. I don't even know if I doubt Joe Biden's read it. I would seriously, I'd bet my favorite sunglasses right here. I would bet my Iridium Oakley spikes that you can't even buy anymore. I'd bet those that he hasn't read it. Do you think he's read it? No. He doesn't even know what they're talking about. If it's not on his cue card, if it's not on his screen, when he gets up there and stumbles and mumbles and babbles and shakes hands with invisible people. I mean, it just gets worse and worse. And his wife's sitting there, he's up there saluting. She's like, just wave, you know. And then the Easter Bunny comes and talks to him, and he looks like he'd just seen a ghost. I mean, he looked terrified. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen this one, but this is hilarious. This is what democracy gets you. So do you really think it's a good idea? Because I have to be honest with you, I'm leaning towards saying it's, you know, I'm not leaning towards like dictatorship or anything like that, but I'm saying that there's a better way than this shit. I mean, the Easter Bunny basically like ran him off. I mean, it interrupted. I don't know what he was over there saying, what he was doing. Maybe he was sniffing little girl's hair. I don't know. He seems to like to do that. Oh, he starts discussing Afghanistan and Pakistan at the Easter. Wow. All right, here, we'll pull this up. I want to know who was in the Easter Bunny suit. That's what I want to know. All right, let's see here. Trying to, well, I guess I can't, I'm not so smart, apparently. I guess I can make this thing big, but I can't make it small. I guess it's not. Never mind. We're not going to go there. Anyway, there he is. Dust bunnies. We'll see if we take that off. Oh, and that puts that up. All right. Well, there's that. And let's see. I'll just see if we can find it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, he had this look of horror on his face when the bunny came up and was like waving at him. Like the bunny, bunny can't change his face, but it's animated and he gets this like just terrified look on his face. And then just turns around and wonders. It was almost as bad as watching him when he had to. Oh, all right, here we go.
You've got to do this again. The Easter Bunny caught stopping President Biden from answering reporters' questions. Hey, good morning, Ashley. I love this, but you take us through what happened. Go ahead.
It's just a great visual, isn't it? Look, they must have some sort of code name among all the handlers when Joe Biden decides to go walkabout and answer questions from reporters. The eagle has left the nest. I repeat, take a listen to this or watch this.
Look at him.
Pakistan should not, and Afghanistan should be.
There we go. Look at the look on his face. You see that? Do you see how let's go back a couple frames here. This is freaking hilarious. All right, here we go. Look at the look on his face. Come on, man.
Yeah, over this way, Mr. President. The bunny.
Oh God, I gotta go back just one frame. Come on, stupid MacBook, whatever the hell is it? All right, let's go. Oh, I know how to do it. I think.
Over this way, Mr.
Look, okay, look at that look on his face. He is look at that. Is that not a look of terror? I mean, he either crapped himself or he's scared to death. I can't tell which.
President, the bunny, enthusiastically, as you can see, waving its stuffed paws and ushering the president away, apparently because he was needed to kick off another round of egg rolling competition by blowing a whistle. By the way, Megan Hayes, the administration's director of...
We don't want to talk about foreign policy. We got to get him over there on that egg rolling because as a president, that's what it's all about, right? Roll them eggs. Standing there. Oh, who is that? There's a picture of the bunny. Who is in the suit? It is his wife. Is that not? Here, hang on. Let me pull this up. I could be wrong. Is that not Jill Biden? Is that not his wife? She was in the suit. Isn't that Jill? Oh, shit. Let me zoom in a little further here. That's all the further I can go. You tell me, is that not Jill? This makes it so much better. Oh my God. I honestly feel like singing the song, the lap dance is so much better when the stripper is crying by Bloodhound Gang. I mean, look at, is that not Jill? Who is that in the, I mean, I don't know. You ought to look and see what you think if you want to. There's your democracy for you. We went from having the first lady like making meal recommendations, don't just say no, doing things about the youth reading, and now we got the first lady. She's in a Easter bunny suit, trying to get this jackass from talking about anything to people. It's like, get the hell out! Stop talking! Don't say another word. I mean,
message planning.
It's terrible. How funny. I mean, it's just hilarious. That's democracy. And that's what you get. I don't know. I do not know. Who knows? And then I got my Twitter feed come up here. I don't even want to look at that. I can't stand looking at all that. There we go. We got some electric guitars. And there's the House bill. And let's just get out of it all. Anyway, I don't know. If anybody listened to this and thinks about it, tell me what you think. Democracy, good idea? Bad idea? On the fence? I tell you what, I respect on the fence. Or just don't know. Never thought about it. Let's be honest about it. Let's be honest. Never thought about it? That's fine. I can get behind that. That's fine. I mean, at least you're being honest. But this idea that the masses should make the rules, we can obviously see that it's not worked. It's not working. It hasn't worked well. Excuse me. Think about how many millions of people are dead because of what the masses think. And let's be honest. When I say you, I'm not talking about anybody personally, but as a representative whole, we can obviously see that the you that I'm referring to, this is not, unless we have an informed electorate, if we have an informed citizenry, then sure, these things will work. I mean, this goes back to the days of fucking Socrates, for Christ's sake. Look what they did to him. He was executed with hemlock. They poisoned him. And he didn't think that this was a good idea. And that's what they did to him. They voted to fucking kill him. I mean, when you talk about philosophy, I mean, how much higher up the fucking, how much higher up the ladder does it go than Socrates? I don't know. See what my hand says? Little by little. Forget. That's what we've done. That's what that means. Little by little. Just forget it all. Just become numb, dumb, stupid. Stagger around. Wear your hat. Put your hat on. You gotta have your hat. And if that guy's got a different hat, then fuck him. That's democracy. I don't like your boat. We're taking it. I don't like your house. We're taking it. I don't like this. I don't like, I don't think that in this, I don't know. And I'm also not certain what the answer is, but this hasn't worked out. I mean, we just keep ending up with war hawks, and you go state by state and it's really no worse. I mean, the state that's got the two people that I could get behind is Kentucky, which come to find out I got a lot of my roots come from there, which I would have never known, but hey, it's all good. I have to go make a visit out there and go see my cousin and his family. Might have to do that this year. I've been telling him that for a while. Will you guys talk to me? Out there in Kentucky? Sometimes they don't like my ideas. But that's all they are. It's ideas. I'm not malicious in nature. I might come off as being wound up and upset about things, but hey, that's what happens, sometimes things, when I have to start talking about things, it's gotten bad, because for the most part, I'm a pretty mellow dude. I mean, for everybody who knows me, you also know that I can get wound up and I can be a mean-ass dude, but I try not to be. It can go there, but it takes a bit. You have to be one real kind of you got to be some kind of a real asswipe to get me in that mode, At least that's the way I see it. I mean, for the most part, I'm pretty chilled out and easy going. But this is just something I was thinking about tonight. It's like, I just don't know that it's the right idea. I mean, it could work. I don't know. That's why I've always been kind of a proponent of anarchy in its true sense. Not Antifa anarchy. That's not anarchy. Okay, anarchy is about doing no harm. It's about not harming another person or their property. I mean, it's about taking personal responsibility. And it's also about helping people that need it. It's about doing the right thing. That's what anarchy is. That's why I've got, I've got a number of anarchy tattoos on myself. And consider myself, I mean, if you got to ask me what political party, up until recently I'd have said libertarian. Right now I'm a member of the People's Party, and I just did so the other day. If you want to check them out, it's just apeoplesparty.org, or you can Google Nick Brana. That's Nick Brana. Justin Jackson is also a part of that. Jimmy Dore's a part of it. I've registered as part of their party as well. And their ideas seem pretty solid with the way I think about things. I mean, because when I look at it, I'm concerned about me. I'm concerned about the world. And everybody just being all right. I want to see an end to poverty. I don't want to see homelessness. I'd like to be able to go see a doctor. That'd be nice. But I can't. I can't afford that. I'd love to know why I can't feel my feet and why I haven't for 3 years. That'd be great to know, because it's really difficult walking around when you can't feel your feet. Try it sometime. Just tie a rope around your foot, both feet. See how that works out for you. It's not that fun. But can I afford to go see a neurologist for that? No. Nope. I'd have probably got better medical care if I were still in prison than I do out here on the street. And I put in for it, I get nothing. Single father, been raising a kid by myself for 9 years. Did I get anything? Nope. Nothing. You're a male. You're a man. Buck up, motherfucker. Who gives a shit you can't feel your feet? Get up there on that 32-foot ladder and go paint that house. Pfft. Must be out your fucking mind. Everybody asks why I'm not doing that anymore. Well, it's kind of hard to sit there and work off ladders and scaffolding all day when you cannot. I mean, literally halfway down both legs from my knee, from my kneecap to my foot, I can't feel. I can't feel my feet right now. I'm sitting here wiggling them around underneath the desk. I can't feel them. Can't go to a doctor. That's the country we live in. But yet we can fork out billions and billions of dollars for a country that nobody's ever even heard of. And it's kind of weird that we're forking out all that dough, and you look at the history between. I'm just saying. Kind of weird that fucking Mushhead, his kid's making $86,000 a month working for a company over there in a business that he knows nothing about. Kind of weird that he did the pay-to-play quid pro Joe. That's a fact. You could look it up. I could play it for you. He got up there and said, I told him if they didn't fire that attorney, that prosecutor, that we weren't going to give them their fucking money. Well, what was it that they went after Trump about? Would they impeach him over? Yeah. The quid pro quo shit, right? Anybody remember that? Remember that? Anybody? Bueller. But yet, dude gets up there, just flat out says this is what he did. Do you want to watch it? I'll put it up there for you. I doubt anybody's even watching this. But if you are, we will just put it out there that this is, it probably won't even come up because I bet they took it down off of here because, by God. Here we go. All right, we're going to pull this up. Ready, folks? Here we go. We're going to show the proof of who was doing quid pro quo. And boom, boom. There it is. All right. Are we listening? All right. Do we have volume?
I just want to put one other issue on the floor before I get another question or two, which is Ukraine. this administration, unlike the administration you worked in, decided to provide limited defense articles to Ukraine. Do you think that was a wise decision? And more broadly, do you see any scope for any sort of a deal on eastern
What's
Ukraine?
What's he doing?
The answer is yes, I think it was a wise decision. But then again, I was pushing that for 2 years before we left. So, and the reason is I think the more you up the ante, the cost to Russia for their aggression. I mean, as you all know, and you know this better than anybody, the one big lie going on about Ukraine back in the rest of Russia is that no Russian soldiers are engaged, they're not dying, no body bags are coming home, etc., because there's overwhelming opposition on the part of the body politic in Russia for engagement in Ukraine in a military sense. I think the Donbass has potential to be able to be solved, but it takes two things. One of those things is missing now, and that is I'm desperately concerned about the backsliding on the part of Kyiv in terms of corruption. They made, I'll give you one concrete example. I was, not I, but it just happened to be, that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be.
Now, what's up with his pant legs? You see how? Look at them pant legs. What's going on there? Look at where his pants are. Same with this cat over here. Is that what happens when you wear them? Look at these guys. What is going on here? And why are they sit? I'm sorry, dude. Fella, I can't sit like that. Can you guys sit like that? I can't sit. I have never in my life sat like that right there. Look at them legs. Look at this guy. What in the fucking, how does I'll get in trouble for talking about the way a dude sits. I just don't know. I can't do it. I don't think I could do that I don't think I'd sit like that if I tried. Yeah, when I was playing baseball, I could do the fucking full-on splits at first base for a ball thrown over to me lower in the dirt. It'd surprise the shit out of people, but I can't sit like that. That's messed up, man. I mean, when dude sits like that.
For loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv.
Why is he holding that pen? He ain't writing anything.
And I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. If the prosecutor.
Is that not quid pro quo? Is it not? It's right there. And that's what Trump got impeached upon, was exactly what this dude did. And why was that prosecutor fired? Because he was looking into his son. If that's not a fact, then tell me, am I lying? That's a fact. There it is, right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you. And it has been. That's democracy. That's democracy at its finest, right there, what I just showed you. Hopefully all 3.2 of you out there heard this. If you did, you didn't, I don't care. I'm going to keep sounding off, but this is why I think that there's got to be a better way to go. Because democracy is, look at this is obviously not working. Does anybody sound off? Tell me this. You're going to answer me this question right here. We'll leave it at this. As an American citizen, or if you're not, there might be people that aren't listening. And let me give some shout outs here too. Shout out Charlie Caperton, #1. You're my boy. Keldon Joshua, Josh Robertson, my cousin Cameron, Summer, what's up? Broward County Sheriff's Department. Hopefully you guys are still tuning in. I would love to actually have a conversation with any of you guys down there at some point. You know what I mean? I would really, it would be an honor and a privilege to have you on. I really like watching, I'm probably going to say it wrong, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful whatsoever. It's Grady Judd, right? Is the sheriff down? I mean, his press conferences are, I mean, to me, the way that man presents himself embodies exactly what a sheriff should be. I mean, he gets up there and I mean, he's right down the line on everything, but then he'll have that, he has that, it's not tongue in cheek and it's a little, it's like sarcasm, but he's got a way about him of saying the truth, but then just putting that little, it's like that kidney punch into it. And I love that about listening to the guy. I mean, quite frankly, and you all know my history, my past, I mean, but I don't have I don't have any animosities towards law enforcement, I mean, I look at law enforcement like I look at everyday people. Just because you're wearing that uniform doesn't mean that I think a certain way about you. And quite frankly, almost every encounter in my life with law enforcement has been just fine. I just happen to be, as the assistant U.S. attorney told me, in the wrong place at the wrong time. But it doesn't mean that I'm hating on anybody in law enforcement. But it doesn't mean that I'm also showing any love towards the bad apples that do bad things, because in any walk of life, you have that. You're going to have that. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can't take any group, and that's why I hate even grouping people in together, but you take all of these, right wing, left wing, blah, 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 and say that somebody is a certain way because of the fact that that's who you associate them with. I just, you have to, you have to meet people and you have to evaluate people on a personal basis. You can't just lump somebody into a group without knowing them, period. I don't care if you're talking religion, political ideologies, political affiliations, race, whatever, what have you. You can't do it because everybody's different, I mean, if you met me on the street, chances are you might look at me and you might have a conception of who I am before you started speaking with me. I may do the same with you. I try not to, though. I honestly do. I try not to ever have any kind of a misconception about somebody based on their appearance. I don't care if you got a alligator shirt with the alligator logo with the collar popped, and I mean, I'll still talk to you. I don't care. I'm not gonna sit there and say you must be some kind of frat boy. I mean, I don't know who you are, and your appearance certainly doesn't ever tell me anything about. I mean, all it does is give you a presupposition and a preformed opinion on somebody. I mean, like I always say, I can drink with bankers or bikers. That doesn't matter to me. I've worked in a bank. Scary, huh? I know y'all wouldn't think that's the truth, but it seriously, I can show you my pay stubs. I used to count your money, fool. I'm just kidding. Not really. I did. Anyway, so there's your quid pro quo. Think about it. Think about democracy and the idea of democracy. And then think about it next time you hear some politician getting up there saying, we got to do this because of democracy. And then, here comes a real brain tickler. We don't live in a democracy. It's a representative republic. I'm going to whisper like Creepy Joe. If your hair was in front of me, I'd sniff it right now. I'm just kidding. I'm not ever going to sniff your hair. Maybe. No, I'm not. All right, folks. Be good. Be good at it. All things be kind and do no harm. I'm taking you out with a little bit of God knows what. I'm just going to push a button here. All right. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Boom. There it is. Tom McDonald. All right. Peace out. From the Mike Files, 52 miles east of Jellystone Park in Coyote, Wyoming.
I wish I wasn't fat.
I wish I wasn't gay.
I wish I wasn't black.
I wish that I was brave.
I wish with every candle on the cake that I could quit doing these drugs, but I can't and I'm afraid.
I wish that I was smart.
I wish that I was rich.
I wish it wasn't hard for me to grow up and forgive.
I wish that I could help.
I wish I wasn't sick.
I wish I was Tom McDonald. I'd be just like him.
I wish I wasn't sober. I miss it when the party wasn't over. Happiness was right around the corner. Every single night was like the best one of our lives. Now we're older. The good old days are out of reach. I wish that they were closer. I wish I wasn't anxious and I wish I could fast forward. And I wish that I could rewind, but they don't make that controller. I wish the nights were longer and I wish the days were shorter. And I wish that I could sleep enough to maintain my composure. I feel crazy. I wish that I was normal. I wish that I could kill myself but also be immortal. Take me to the oracle. I heard that time is borrowed. Can you give me back my yesterdays? I'll give you my tomorrows. Forget all of my morals and just live like I cannot remember sorrow. Before all of the tattoos and the cornrows, I was different, I was happy, I was calmer, I was young and full of hormones. Now I'm wishing for a time machine, I'd step into that portal and be gone.
I wish on shooting stars, or were they satellites? Maybe they were too far. Hey, ooh la la, I must have blown apart a million dandelions. Now they don't grow in my yard. Hey, ooh la la.
I wish I didn't care about the day that I'd be buried. Used to live like I was ready for it, always in a hurry. Now I'm worried, all my memories are blurry. I'm just barely turning 30 and the voices in my head are trying to hurt me. The choices that I made make me feel dirty. I was 25 or 13, I was smoking with the seniors, drinking beer and getting flirty. Now the Ativan ain't working, I need something even stronger. Give me childhood, my mother and my father and my sister, and a Christmas to make up for all the recent ones I'm missing while I'm touring the country for a living. Give me a hug and a Nintendo and a toy box in the closet. Give me everything I wish I had. Oh wait,